Hey there, it's Reverend Sully, and this is my first hot take from my new studio rig. So please, apologizing for any bumps, bleeps, and other stuff. Hi, yeah, I got myself a microphone and a webcam, and I'm ready for this, right? So, this is my hot take on David Lynch's Dune. I call it In Defense of David Lynch's Dune. A caveat for everyone, please don't burn your hands trying to hold on to my hot takes. Watch out for your fingers. That's on you, okay? But really, let's talk about David Lynch's Dune real quick. I got no problems with it. I never have. In 1984, when this movie came out, I was 11 years old. I had a Paul action figure. I had the Marvel Comics adaptation that was drawn by Bill Sienkiewicz, which was amazing. Saw it at the theater. Sure, it was confounding, but here's the story as I know it. Okay, so David Lynch was a young filmmaker. He had just done Eraserhead, and he was offered Revenge of the Jedi by George Lucas, which he politely declined because it was a one-picture deal. What he did was took up Dino De Laurentiis's three-picture deal, starting with Frank Herbert's Dune, that he adapted from reading the book. He wrote the screenplay after reading the book once. That's the Apocrypha, and he got a three-picture deal from De Laurentiis. What was the movie he made after Dune? A little something called Blue Velvet. And he's been David Lynch ever since, right? So, Dune as an adaptation, and it's disappointed. It's pretty much vested fans for years, I guess. Me personally, I don't see it like that. It was the primer for the book for me. It opened up the Frank Herbert's 6 original Dune books to me, which I read after that and all throughout high school with multiple rereads. And what a fascinating world it is. But for Lynch to, be a quote unquote normie that we call these days, coming into a property and adapting it and giving what we got, this is what we today would call fan outrage or whatnot. I'm not sure. David Lynch's Dune, though, it's a closed circuit. It is, and I'm going to tell you why. It's all in the ending, at the end of the movie. David Lynch, he put a lot of his own imagery in that too, from like the Harkonnen heart plugs, that the meat and industry imagery of Giedi Prime. It's just that's what we see in Lynch's body. From then on out, we see phallic imagery. We see yonic imagery. Yonic imagery is basically anything Georgia O'Keeffe-esque, from drapes in the background to the opening of the guildsmen's mouths. This imagery is everywhere in basically all of Lynch's work. But the ending of Dune, with the rain, this was not meant to be a perpetuated property as we think of it today. It's David Lynch's Dune is a distilled one shot, and it is what it is. It's like I said, it's a closed circuit. It's just here it is. It's like there's the ending. It's complete. There's no need to flesh it out anymore. Muad'Dib has brought the rain. What now, as Dune fans, we know what rain and water will do to the sandworms and to the spice cycle, and but to think that this could have been what we think as a modern property with sequels fleshed out, I don't think that was part of the original plan whatsoever. It was just a one and done. Something like such as Planet of the Apes or Jaws. These were movies that were not meant to have sequels. But guess what? because of popularity, they were fleshed out into having many sequels, into a property. Same with Terminator. But Dune, it's ripe for future adaptation. Sure, with all 6 books stretching out thousands of years into the future. Yet David Lynch's Dune on its own, it just, yeah, it's a closed circuit. It's a complete story. It doesn't go any further than the ending. And yeah, it's problems for lots of fans. This fan in particular, no. I have a fondness for David Lynch's Dune. I'm a fan of his movies. So, yeah, with Denis Villeneuve's upcoming release of Dune, I'm really interested in seeing it eventually. And to be sure, the modern lenses and its adaptations and trying to shoehorn this grand story to fit our modern narrative is quite pedantic and boring, and it's not eternal like a good story should be. But hey, what do you think? David Lynch's Dune, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's limited, sure, it's got problems, yeah, everything's got problems, but it's not bad. I don't think that. I think it's good. I love the subtle imagery. I love this show not tell. I love this era because also I was a child when this came out. This is nostalgic for me. I also like the Sci-Fi Channel's miniseries. That was a great place to flesh out Dune into a more serialized format, a decompressed place where we can flesh out most of the first 3 books of Dune, which is great. But David Lynch's Dune, it's a 3-act structure, and it does the impossible. It asks the impossible. How can you distill Frank Herbert's Dune into a 3-act, over 2-hour movie? Well, Lynch did, and to much people's disappointment, of course. But not to this fan or not to this Dune fan. It's just part of it. If you really want Dune, read the books. That's where the story is. And my favorite Dune book is God Emperor of Dune, the 4th book, and one of my favorite quotes from Dune ever is it's not really a quote, and I really can't place it. But it's Paul. I believe it's Paul, and he's reminiscing about a lesson that Duncan Idaho taught him. And Duncan said this to Paul: if your surface is unsure, then it's best to fight in bare feet. And that's a metaphor that I've taken with me my entire life. And it just means, adapt. You know what I mean? Just be aware of your surroundings and adapt to it. And there's just something to the adaptivity of... It's a theme in Dune, is adapting. And David Lynch's Dune, not that bad. Give it a chance. Read the books. That's where it is. And I'm looking forward to what you all have to say about Dune. So leave a comment, smash the like button, smash that dislike button, and let me know what you think about Dune. David Lynch's Dune, it is what it is. It's an artifact. It's got sting, and he was. It was 84, man. There was no one bigger than Sting, right? And I'm just very fond of this. And I hope you enjoy, and God bless. Namaste. And the spice must flow. Cheers.